Hi everyone, so I want to show today a 5x7 geometric pop-up pillar card. Now the one I'm going to do is actually going to be closer to this one. I'm actually going to do it with a third geometric part in it. So this one's only got two, one in there and one on there, nothing at the back. So if you wanted to, you could do it like this. I'm also going to make this aperture a bit bigger as well on the one I'm doing today. This was literally just like a starter one just to see how it went. The papers I've used here was from my stash. I've no idea. I think they were free with the magazine. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, I've had them for quite a while. But this is the idea that we're going to go for today. Just quite liked it. And also because I think that if you do something like this, you then don't really have to decorate very much. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this card, you are going to need one piece that is 7 inches by 10.5. And on this, you want to score at 2.5, at 5, at 7.5, and at 10. You're also going to need 3 pieces that are 3 inches by 6 inches. And on the short side, you're going to score these at 1/2 inch, 1.5, and 2.5 inches. I'm going to repeat that on both of the other pieces as well. So now what you want to do is if you just fold these 1/2 inch tabs over, just so you can kind of see a bit better where your score lines are. You then want to score diagonally from the top of that first score line to the bottom of the other score line. So you're going to go across that middle score line that you've done. And then you want to do the same on this side here. So you should end up with that. So you want to do that again for your other 2 pieces. So once you've scored all 3, go ahead and fold your tabs as mountains, and then you want these to be mountains, and the only thing that's a valley is that middle one. So you should end up with 3 pieces that look like that. So we're going to put those to one side for now, and then if you bring your original card back in, you're just going to mountain fold all of your folds. So once you do that, you should end up with this. Now what we're going to do is we need to sort out our pattern paper. So you need in total 4 pieces that are 2.25 by 6.75. I've got these 2 which are going to go on the front, and then I've also got these 2 which are going to go on the inside. Now one thing we will need to do on this front section is we need to cut an aperture out. You can work out, figure out where you want to put your tab piece. I'm going to have it so that it folds round and it's there, so you don't really see it. So that means I need to cut my aperture out of this bit here. So my tab's on the left and I'm cutting my aperture out here. If you want to, you can put it in the middle and have your tab at the back. I wouldn't do it so that this goes where your aperture is. I'll just be a bit careful of that. And then what we want to do is go ahead, put this on. Now you can either stick this on and then cut it out and then make a border, or you can try and cut the pattern. So I've done that on this one. I've cut the pattern slightly bigger and then did the middle. I'm going to lay my pieces on, and then what I'm going to do is take my low tack tape. I'm going to lay the largest of the 2 nesting dies on top, being very careful not to move my pattern pieces. And then once they're in place, I'm then going to just tape this onto the inside of my pattern piece, and then I can take that whole section off, just slide it off onto my plate and then run that through my die cutting machine. So once I've done that, I can just lay them back onto my card, take the smaller die, place that in the middle so that it's kind of even, and then we're going to take that into position and then run that through my die cutting machine. You have to have an A4 die cutting machine to be able to do this. If you've got anything smaller, it's not going to work. because you've got to put the whole 7-inch width. Unless you've got a die cutting machine that will take a 7-inch width, then that's fine, but I don't know of one that does that. So I'm now going to move these out of the way and then just run this through my machine. So now I'm going to go ahead and just stick these pieces in place on the card. Once you've done that, you can turn your card over, and then you need to go ahead and put your other 2 pattern pieces on these 2 panels here. Now once you've done that, you want to turn this over. So this tab here, you want to put red tape on this side. So I'm actually going to turn it to this side here. I'm going to put red tape all along there. And then I'm just going to mitre these edges. Now I don't want to stick this together just yet because we want to put our internal pieces in first. So before we do that, we're going to take these 3 pieces and go ahead and put red tape on all of the tabs. And then don't forget to mitre all your corners. So you end up with that. So next up you want to decorate. Now I'm not decorating these pieces here, I'm only decorating these 2. If you want to decorate those as well, you can. You're just going to need 2 pieces that are 1.5 by 5. Actually no, I've done it so that I think you can decorate all of it. And then on the back what you want to do is halfway, so 1.5, so that's 3/4. So at 3/4 you want to draw a line going from the top all the way to the bottom and then do a diagonal crisscross. I would put tape over it if you're sticking it down like me, if you're not using glue, because I'm using Miri. And then what you want to do is just go ahead and cut these up. When you're cutting them up, make sure you lay them out on your desk so you can see where everything goes, otherwise it can get a bit confusing. Okay, so now what you want to do is just take one of these and you're going to decorate it up. So you're going to use the whole of one of those to decorate this. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we've done one of them, we're going to bring our card back in, and this is going to go in the middle there so that your centre line lines up with the centre line on the back. And then what you want to do is take off the backing on your tab. I would take a little bit off, not the whole thing. And then tuck that tab under and stick it into position. Just make sure that it is definitely central top and bottom and it lines up with that halfway line. And then you can go ahead and do the same on this other side. So just keep the whole thing flat, fold that tab under and stick that down. And then if you just pop it a little bit, you'll end up with that. And so obviously when it's all together, as you can see this faceted section. So now we're going to deal with this side of things. So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, how it's going to be. And then what I would do is when it's going to be in the card like that, you can only really see this part and this part. You can't really see this side of things. So because of that, that's the pieces you want to stick on. So you want to stick this bit, that and that out of these pieces. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick those down. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done that one. So now if we bring this one in, this one's going to go in this way. So we only want to put the decorations on here and then these 2 triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now we need to take this one here, we're going to take off the backing and I'm going to take it off this side first, and then we're going to fold the whole thing in half the way it's going to be in the card, like that. I'm going to bring this in, actually the first one we'll just do it straight like this. So we're going to lay it down flat for the first one. So let's just bring that tab over. Pull that whole thing down, make sure that the halfway line lines up with that score line that you've got there, and then when you're happy that it's in the right place, you're then going to go ahead and peel off your backing like that, And then what we want to do is fold that whole thing down like that, peel the backing off, and then bring this whole section over, because in the envelope it's going to fold like that. Now if you end up like I have, with part of it being seen through, so part of that tab is actually going to be seen through. I didn't have this problem with the other one. I think that's why I went for that smaller aperture. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to make sure that whatever I put on there covers that up. So just bear that in mind. So when you cut in your aperture, don't cut it as big as mine, because you're going to end up with those problems. So let's just take this backing off and stick it down regardless for now. Now we come to the bit tricky bit. So obviously this is where the join is, so this makes it a bit more difficult. So what I would suggest you do is take your piece that you're going to stick down, take the backing partially off one side, fold that flat under, and then line this up again with the one you've just done at the top and the bottom. Line up your centre line with the fold line of your tab, like that, and then stick that down. And then what we can do is when we go to stick it, so if we just lay that flat for now, we actually stick that down, and then we can stick that extra bit in. It's a bit of a faff, but it's kind of the only way you can do it. Whichever way you do it, you're always going to have a bit of a problem with this tab. So I'm going to fold this, I'm just going to fold this flat out of the way for now. Bring this over like that, fold this on top, stick it down like that, and then we're going to take this piece, get it into its half like that, and then what we need to do is just take the backing off and stick it into position. Now as I said, this is rather fiddly, but it's difficult because you haven't really got many options with this. I'm going to just sort of do partially. So let's fold that whole thing down like that. This is folded down flat, and that's folded down flat. Again, we can see it on that side, but that's fine. I'm going to try and cover it up. And there you have your card. So it is quite tight in there, as you can see. There's not a lot of space, but from the front it looks quite cool. And it also means you don't have to do a lot of decoration on the inside. As I said, if you wanted to, you could just do that one on the back and not bother with these two side ones, or you could just do you know, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead now and add something on these sides, so at least then we're not having to worry about those pieces there. So I found myself some resin flowers that I've had in my stash. It means that I won't be able to post it very easily, but that's fine. I tend to hand give, by hand, most of my cards. So I'm going to go ahead now and just stick these on here and kind of cover up that tape there. And then I've got a happy and a birthday that I'm going to put on as well. Okay, so there you have your finished cards. It's quite a simple sort of design. I haven't really gone overhead with the decoration. I mean, it's not a simple design, but I haven't gone overhead with the decoration. On the back, you can put panels to write on. Mine's already white, so I'll probably just write straight on there. But you can do a panel if you want on the back, if you've got a different colour base card. So yeah, and then it all folds flat like that to fit in an envelope for a 5x7 card. Obviously, if you put embellishments on like I have, then you won't be able to, it's not that flat because you've got the bump. But apart from that, it does fold flat. And then it opens up nice and easily, and you've got this lovely faceted card. If you want to just, as I said before, just do the sides, then you can do something like that. I didn't actually decorate my sides either, I just left them plain. Just put some little embellishments on, but I didn't actually put panels on them. Or if you wanted to, you could just do the one at the back and not the side ones. But yeah, just a few ideas for you really. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my Mum's the Word paper pack. It's available on DRK Crafts as a digital kit. It's also available on Amazon. And I also have a Dragonfly Dreams kit as well, which is sort of similar, again available on DRK Crafts and also on Amazon. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!